right, let's get into this. Let's do this. What's up, y'all? Mr. Still, local real estate agent here in DFW, and today I've got a super interesting topic I want to talk about. I have been nerding out over this. I'm going to be talking about the tokenization and digitization of assets, and then I'll touch on obviously how that impacts real estate assets. So, as always, before we jump into this, this is not legal advice or financial advice. Let's jump into this. I have been nerding out about this. Let me get some caffeine. All right, so what is the tokenization and digitization of assets? Okay, that's the million, billion, trillion-dollar question. And there's not just a ton of information out there, but I've been doing quite a bit of research, and I think I've got a pretty good grasp over it. And I'm fascinated by this topic and how this can potentially affect us as regular people, as people who want to buy real estate, so on and so on and so on. So this is where you are basically you're digitizing an asset. So you're going to be assigning like a cryptocurrency or something of that nature to reflect the value of the real world asset. And so you get to, I think this just has so many different potential benefits and effects and is going to significantly shake up markets. Specifically about real estate, the real estate industry and the real estate market, if you've ever bought a home, you've probably experienced this. If you haven't, trust me when I say it's super archaic and it's crazy. It is super disorganized sometimes. It's highly compartmentalized. You have so many different, areas and businesses and companies and entities that are not doing a great job of communicating with each other. Even like, for example, like within the bank, within the lender, constantly drops the ball. Underwriting team didn't get it in time and weren't in a hurry. And now the closing has to be extended. One department didn't talk to the mortgage broker. The mortgage broker, set different expectations. I ran a title company for over 5 years, and I can't tell you like how many horror stories. I had a client show up who was closing the day. The buyer we're here in DFW, Dallas Fort Worth. The person was leaving Austin and moving here, right? And they literally drove all the way from Austin, hours, to the closing that day after I had told them the night before, like, hey, I don't have the docs. I can't close. Just wait to hear from me. Do not waste your time driving here tomorrow yet. I don't know if this thing's going to close tomorrow. Like, I'll be in touch. Shows up, like, talked to his lender, the mortgage broker, and they were like, no, we're good. Be there. Be there at like 9. Shows up at my office at like 9 or 9:30 or something. And I was like, hey, what are you doing here? And, this is like a young guy buying his first house. He's like, I'm here to close. I'm here to buy my house. And I'm like, dude, I don't even have closing docs. Like, I don't have loan docs. I told you, like, to wait for me to call you. And he was like, oh, well, I talked to my lender and they said everything's good. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's not. It's not good. Can't close. Dude hung out for like a couple hours, waited till lunch. I was like, hey, man, he started panicking, getting stressed, anxiety. I'm like, hey, just relax. Tell you what, why don't you, like, you're already here. There's a lot of great food here in Fort Worth. Why don't you go get some food, go have lunch, call me after you're done eating, relax, go get a coffee, whatever, right? Get a massage, do something, relax. And I'll let you know. And so long story short, we did not even close that day. Dude drove in all the way from Austin to buy this home in Fort Worth that we had been working on for like a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. And we didn't even close that day. The dude had to like either I can't remember if he drove all the way back to Austin or got a hotel. I can't remember, but it was like he was pissed, man. So, and again, this is not to throw shade at just lenders. It's not always just lenders that are messing up. Title can mess up, agents can mess up by not getting documents to the appropriate, parties that are waiting on those things. Buyers can be short of cash. There are so many. I've had instances where like the cash to close changed like the morning of. I've had deals almost fall completely apart because, the buyers are so, they're budgeting to the T. And if they're expecting you have to bring, $14,000, $14,500 to the table and it changes to $16,000 or something, it's like, oh, like, dude, dude, I can't do that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, you told me 14 and change. Like, where's this extra, 2 grand coming from? 3 grand coming from? Like, I've seen it all. And it's crazy. And I mean, there's so many other archaic things about this industry where having a good agent can actually be very valuable. For example, like lender required repairs for sellers who can't afford to make those repairs. It's like, how do you liquidate the asset? Like, oh my God, like the bank's breathing down the neck. I'm like days from foreclosure. Like, I have to sell, I have to sell, I have to sell. And like I had a VA closing where the VA regulations, the seller who had passed away, it was a probate. The children were selling the home per the estate, and no one has any money, and no one expected to lose their dad. And it's like the last thing they want to worry about is selling this home, which they need to cover the cost of the funeral and like all this other stuff. And it's like the dad had expanded the living room into the patio and brought the patio and enclosed it and made it a part of the house. And because he expanded the house like some minimal amount of square feet, like let's say like 100 square feet or something, the brand new 2.5 ton AC unit no longer qualifies per the regulations, and they need a brand new 3-ton unit because now the home is technically a little bigger. It's like, what? This AC unit does fine. It's brand new. Like it cools and heats perfectly. There's no problem. They'd be better off like running that thing into the ground for the next 5 years and getting their money out of it and then getting a new unit. Like, why? And it's like, nope, sorry, per regulations, blah, 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 blah. Size of the home requires this size of AC unit, even though it's new, blah, 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 blah. And even though we only expanded to like 80 feet or whatever it is, it's crazy. It's crazy. And so I've seen it all. I've seen it all. The industry is insanely archaic. And even as someone who has something to risk here, the archaic and disorganization actually makes me very valuable. I do think I'm future-proofed a little bit because of the relationship factor and being able to connect all the different parties and people and subcontractors and you name it, right? I don't have a lender. I don't know how do I get a pre-approval? How do I schedule an inspection? How do I get professional photography to list my home? Where do I list my home? How much should I ask for my home? Am I asking too much? Am I not asking enough? I don't want to lose money. I don't want to leave money on the table. I don't want to offer too much for a home, right? Like, where do I get professional photography done? And how much is that? It's like, how do I get, what kind of lockbox do I put on my door? I don't have access to those kind of electronic Bluetooth lockboxes that tracks who comes and goes. And I have valuables and I have children, I have jewelry. It's like, okay, great. There's a lot of value from a good agent who has the experience and knows what they're doing. That being said, a lot of the archaicness and disorganization of this industry adds even more valuable to agents and keeps them more relevant. So as someone who's probably going to find they lose some relevancy because of this industry changing and tokenization and digitization, I'm still overall very positive because I think this is going to make the entire buying process of real estate much better and easier for regular people like you. And that's what I really want. I really want regular, normal people to not be as outcompeted by these giant megalithic corporations. And I want the regular people to be able to have a financial change and shift in their financial journey, to be able to start doing things to future-proof themselves, to be able to like not be losing value of their savings account, to be able to take that cash and get into assets, right? Real estate, crypto, stocks, bonds, you name it, right? Like assets, real assets that will go up with inflation, that will hedge your money, that will protect you from inflation, that will make you money, that will future-proof you from things like job loss, AI, all of these technology changes, the job market changes. I mean, autonomous driving, truck drivers, Uber drivers, like, AI is going to replace so many different jobs from specialists, attorneys, lawyers, accountants, all the way down to like pretty much any desk job. Like desk jobs, if you're a desk job worker right now, like you need to be sweating AI. You need to be playing with ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, learning how to use these and utilize these tools to see where things are going, stay up to date, because I think like it's going to be the people who can utilize AI, who can use it to the full extent, who can come up with creative ways, the right questions, monetization of these things. When AI start chatting with each other and come up with new languages, it's like the person who can figure out what they're saying to each other to make sure they're doing what we want them to do, that's a valuable person, right? The software engineer or coder who can code in Java, when AI programs come out and like someone like you or me can just be like, hey, make me a Java program that does this, and it goes and it spits that out, that person's not going to be valuable anymore. Accountants, when you have an AI agent that's like a Jarvis, like Tony Stark, and you tell it to do your taxes and you submit your tax returns and it does it, like you don't need a CPA anymore, right? Like this stuff's going to shake stuff up. So tokenization, and digitization of assets is going to be crazy cool. Here's some examples, right? Of like how, like, this is like, I'm brainstorming. I don't know that this is exactly what will happen, but like a few things that I've thought of when I'm looking at this is like, it can change like the liquidation of real estate assets for one. Like if you own a home with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, right? And you are 50-50, right? Like you don't have to go through the whole rigmarole of like liquidating the entire property. Like if you have tokens, like crypto tokens, like let's say there's 100 crypto coin tokens that represent the full value of your property, and you have 50 of them, and your partner has 50 of them, right? Like y'all get into a fight. There's like infidelity or whatever, or like divorce, or da 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 da. Like you potentially have the ability to just like sell those tokenized digital representations of the value of the home, like immediately to the market, right? And then you're like, I'm out. I'm going to Europe. I'm going to Italy. I'm going to go to Greece. I'm going to go to, Spain, and I'm out. Like, yeah, broke my heart. Sorry. Love you. Bye. Peace out. I mean, this could be great for women, men, for people in abusive relationships. This is going to be great for the regular person who wants to buy a home, but you can't afford to buy the whole home. You don't have like 10, 20, 30, $40,000, and maybe like you don't have like the right credit, but like maybe you have $3,000, maybe you have $500, right? And it's like you can buy fractional portions of a home potentially. Like this is where this could lead to. Like, and you could scale your way up. And it's like, eventually it's like, dude, you own over half the home. It's like, now you're the controlling interest. It's like, you can decide what to do. Like, do we rent this out? Do I live in it? Like, what do I want to do with this thing? Like, super cool, super cool. Like, this is going to change the game. And again, I think it's also going to eliminate a lot of the, the middlemen and women. Obviously I'm an agent. I am kind of a middleman, right? Eventually this will probably eliminate me eventually in the future. I think there's still so many like human elements and errors in relationships and interpersonal skills required even once these things first come into being. I mean, like I was talking about with like lender required repairs. Do you know a subcontractor? Do you know someone, like, do you have the money for it? Do you know someone who's willing to get paid at closing that'll make these repairs? Like blah 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 blah. All right, who do I call? How do I list? Like, what's it worth? There's still a lot of stuff that hedges and protects me. Like, this job as a real estate agent will most likely still be around, even like decently after like a lot of jobs you would probably expect to go later. Like a truck driver, like chances are, like an Uber driver, like you got Waymo and all that coming out. I mean, those things are right around the corner. They're starting to pop up in cities. Like those things are going to expand, and eventually it's like, in most cities around the world, when you call an Uber or Waymo or whatever, like it's going to be a car that's autonomously driven. There's no steering wheel, right? Like if I was Uber, yeah, there'll be a transitory period. If it was my company, yeah, I'd probably, like, there's going to be, like, as someone who Ubers occasionally to make clients make extra money, whatever, have another 1099 for write-off purposes, I hear like, oh, I'd never want to, a robot drive me, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, oh, dude, if I'm Uber, if I'm Waymo or whoever, right? Like, sure, okay, cool. If you want, like, as we're rolling out autonomous driving vehicles, we keep some Uber drivers there. And it's like, oh, if you want a real person, you can still get a real person, but you're going to pay a premium. And then eventually, like, people will just acclimate, they'll adapt, and everyone will be used to a car with no person in it pulling up to pick you up and drive. And those jobs are gone, right? Like the Uber driving jobs, and then eventually the semi-truck driving jobs. Like a lot of those jobs will be gone and eliminated. And let's be real, I don't love driving Uber. I like talking to people. It's nice to make a little extra money. It's nice to make some clients and network. I don't just like hate it, but I don't love it. I mean, dude, there's some days like, man, my back hurts, and it's like, oh, like I'm tired of sitting in this car. Like, this is not what I would prefer to be doing with my time. I like this. This is cool. Like, I like making content and talking to y'all and adding some value and researching. And I think this is really going to be like the things that survive AI for a long time. This right here, content, having followers, producing entertaining, informative, long form content too. So that's my take on the tokenization and digitization of assets. That's kind of like a brief description of it, where basically you're digitizing the asset, and you're going with like a crypto or some kind of like digital representation of the value of the asset. And yeah, there's some cool things. This is kind of similar. It's not exactly the same, but I wasn't listening directly to Aiden Ross, but I was listening to someone else who was talking about this idea that Aiden Ross had, which is with the new GTA coming out. how he would like to create some system where people who are working in the game can actually make crypto, like they, which is like, digital money, right? Like, some crypto coin or whatever, right? Which you could then liquidate and actually have like USDC or US dollars or whatever, right? Like, so that's cool. I think we're going to see that rolling out. Like, I mean, there's going to be like a double push for stuff like that moving forward. I think, it's literally Ready Player One type shit, right? Where you're playing a video game and you're making real world like usable currency for the time you're spending in the game. Like in Ready Player One, they had like, like that company, I forget the name of the company, but like everyone hated them, right? And they had like all these people playing the video game and they were like getting paid or paying off their debt or whatever that they owed to this company. So you're like, yeah, but that's a concern for sure. That's not great, but like it is kind of cool. Like, I have a lot of gamer friends like to potentially, I mean, especially as job losses, AI, technological improvements change, like to be able to play a video game that you're actually having fun, I guess, and make money, like real world usable money via crypto. That's kind of cool. And so, I mean, yeah, that's interesting. And I'm curious to see how that could potentially roll out. I think you're going to see stuff like that. Like, oh, yeah. Like, some people are like, oh, yeah, maybe we'll see that in our lifetime. I'm like, lifetime? I'm like, dude, like, I'm 3, 5, 10 years. Like, this is moving quick. Like, I'm watching so much AI and quantum computing, and I'm trying to figure out, like, where all this technology is going, how rapid it's evolving and growing and scaling, and where we're headed. So, digitization and tokenization of real estate assets, super cool, super interesting. I'm going to continue to try to like keep informing myself and researching this so I can keep you informed and give you updates. But that's kind of the gist of what the tokenization and digitization of assets look like, and just a few like cool, fun, playful ideas that I've had personally on where that could lead and what that could do and how that could change the industry and affect you. And again, I think overall you're going to see like a big bump in equity, right? So if you're already a homeowner or you're looking to buy soon, right? Like if they were to digitize and tokenize real estate assets, you're probably going to see your value go up a lot. So this isn't like a just a bad thing all around. Like there's lots of benefits, there's probably some cons, and chances are we're going to see this. We're going to see this industry evolve and change, and this is probably going to be a factor. And so, as always, myself, I'm looking, how can I add value? How can I stay relevant? What can I do to get ahead of the curve and future proof myself when it comes to all this kind of stuff? So, there you have it, guys. That's the tokenization and digitization of assets, specifically, kind of real estate related, and how real estate and crypto could potentially merge in the future and what that kind of could look like. Again, this was very broad, playful. I'm just kind of like nerding out with you right now, okay? As I do more research and see more stuff come out, like I didn't name any particular like kind of cryptos that I think might could be used for this. Might could do that in another video. I just kind of wanted to like have some fun with this one, kind of brainstorm and just play around with this idea and get your mind kind of like, thinking about it and what that could look like for you as a regular person who should or will own real estate one day. So there you have it, y'all. I really appreciate you sticking with me. We're almost to 20 minutes now. So I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you have a blessed one. Please like and subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a wonderful Monday, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.